bleibst auch? Bleibst du auch? Ah, schön. Gut. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kara More Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kara More Toma Bina Ke Dayalu Jagat Samsare Toma Bina Ke Dayalu Jagat Samsare Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatara Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatara Mosama Patita Prabhu Napai Beara Mosama Patita Prabhu Napai Beara Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Balokana Kara Ami Bodo Dukhi Kripa Balokana Kara Ami Bodo Dukhi Daya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai Daya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Balepai Chaitanya Nitai Tava Kripa Balepai Chaitanya Nitai Ha ha Svarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Ha ha Svarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Bata Yuga Sri Jivaha Prabhu Lokanatha Bata Yuga Sri Jivaha Prabhu Lokanatha Konoshi Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Daya Konoshi Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamage Narottama Das Ramachandra Sangamage Narottama Das Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Shri Radhe Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada
Is somebody strong enough to take the harmonium here? Fully absorbed.
So mostly welcome to this Chaitanya Charitamrita class. It's actually, it is my first Chaitanya Charitamrita class, actually. It's not my first class at all, but I give so few classes that it feels like the first time, always again, like the first time. So I beg your blessings, and I'm really not qualified to say anything, but somehow I was thinking, it is good to study the scriptures and to really stick on it and stay focused. And the best thing to do is when you have to present it, like in your own words, like what did I understand, and then to give it to others. And that's why I accepted to do that service today. And thank you very much that you're here and listening, for all listeners. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda. So we are reading today the verse 146 of the Madhya Lila, chapter 21. Amita Baula Ana Kahite Ana Kahi Krishnera Madhuryamrita Sroteya Hivahi Amita Baula Ana Kahite Ana Kahi Krishnera Madhuryamrita Sroteya Hivahi Amita Baula Ana Kahite Ana Kahi Krishnera Madhuryamrita Sroteya Hivahi Amita Baula Ana Kahite Ana Kahi Krishnera Madhuryamrita Sroteya Hivahi. Someone wants to read? You can also with another melody. Amita Baula Ana Kahite Ana Kahi Krishnera Madhuryamrita Sroteya Hivahi Amita Baula Ana Kahite Ana Kahi Krishnera Madhuryamrita Sroteya Hivahi. Anyone else? Some Matachis, maybe? Amita Baula Ana Kahite Ana Kahi Krishnera Madhuryamrita Sroteya Hivahi Amita Baula Ana kahite anakahi Krishnera madhuryamrita sroteyaivahi. Anyone else? Amita Baula Ana Kahite Anakahi Krishnera Madhuryamrita Sroteyaivahi. Amita Baula Ana Kahite Anakahi Krishnera Madhuryamrita Shrotevaivahi. Amita Baula. I am a madman. Anakahite. To speak something. Anakahi. I speak on something else. Krishnera. Of Lord Krishna. Madhuryamrita. Of the nectar of the sweetness. Srote. In the waves of. Yai. I go. Vahi. Being carried away. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Since I have become a madman, I am saying one thing instead of another. This is because I am being carried away by the waves of the nectarian ocean of Lord Krishna's transcendental sweetness. I'm going to read it again. Since I have become a madman, I am saying one thing instead of another. This is because I am being carried away by the waves of the nectarian ocean of Lord Krishna's transcendental sweetness. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'm going to read the next verses till the end of the chapter. Tabe Mahaprabhu Kshane Kamona Kari Rahe Mane Eka Kari Puna Sanatana Kahe. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then remained silent for a moment. Finally, adjusting things within his mind, he again spoke to Sanatana Goswami. Krishnera Madhuri Ara Mahaprabhura Mukhe Ihaye Ishunese Base Prema Sukhe. If anyone gets an opportunity to hear about the sweetness of Krishna in this chapter of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he will certainly be eligible to float in the transcendentally blissful ocean of love of God. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Padeyara Asha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunatha, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Dasa, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, 21st chapter, describing the blissful characteristics of Krishna. Yeah, so welcome again. So this verse here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking to Sanatana Goswami. And actually Sanatana Goswami is a very confidential associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And one may say, why does he say like this? He said, I have become like a madman. I am saying one thing instead of another. This is because I have been carried away by the waves of the nectarian ocean of Lord Krishna's transcendental sweetness. So what he was saying, actually, he was speaking about Krishna's unparalleled beauty, and he was speaking about Krishna's flute. We heard about his transcendental flute and about the gopis, because the flute attracted the gopis so much that they run away to Krishna. They left everything behind them, their families, and they run away. So he was speaking about these very intimate things. And he says, I have become a madman. Actually, what means a madman? He was not just a madman like one may be in this material world, a madman, but he was a transcendental madman. That means outside he did not realize what was going on, but internally he was entering the Leela. He was totally connected, and he was inside the Leela. This was his transcendental madness, and that's why he said, I became a madman. And once in a class, it was of His Grace Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu from Gadaigiri, I asked this question: what is the difference between a transcendental madman and somebody who is like calling mad in this world? And then he explained that actually when someone is mad just like this, he may just laugh, ha 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 ha, or he may cry, oh, and out of nothing or out of a thought, he was thinking something or remembering a movie or sewing some people and then laughing just about anything. But somebody who is transcendentally mad, he's just focusing on Krishna, and this is the transcendental madness. And actually, we are aspiring for this kind of madness. And there is this song, Kabe Habe Bolo Se Dina Amar. You may know that. Vignapti of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And in the 5th paragraph, he is saying, Kabe Navadvipe Suradunitate Gora Nityananda Boli Nishkapate Nachiya Gaya Bedai Bachute Batulera Praya Chadiya Vichar. Sorry for my voice. The translation is, when will I give up all thought of the world and society to run like a madman along the banks of the Ganges in Navadvipa, singing and dancing and sincerely calling out the names of Gora and Nityananda? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur wants to become mad. That doesn't mean that we have, we aspire for this, but not in the near future actually. Because now we are supposed to do some services for Krishna, to be concentrated. We have also to fulfill our duties, to pay our bills, to be like grounded. And ecstasy is, I heard once from a devotee, and I like this, that actually ecstasy is something grounded, that you may internally feel a lot of feelings, but you know exactly what you do, and you know how to serve Krishna and how to act properly. Yes, so again to this verse, Mahaprabhu says, I am saying one thing instead of another. So he didn't want it actually to speak about these confidential things about the gopis and the flute, but he was somehow carried away because he was in ecstasy. And so he was, as I said, he was saying this to Sanatana Goswami, which is a confidential associate. So why did he say like this? It was because he knew that this, they were talking, would be openly discussed later, and it would be they will spread this speech amongst all devotees, but also amongst all people. And he knew that this was so confidential. He was giving Raja Prem actually, and he knew that the listeners would not be really qualified, but he is the most magnanimous, and he wanted us to listen to that, to hear that, and he wanted us to assimilate that. And if we hear someone who hears that, the glories of the beauty of Krishna and about the flute and about the gopis, actually after that he cannot do any nonsense in this world anymore. So that's why he was like reluctant to speak about these things, and he said, I was carried away, because after hearing that we have to stick. Hare Krishna Prabhu last time in the class he was speaking of, we have to stick, we have to go on in our devotional service and be determined. So and here Mahaprabhu is expressing the delicacy and the high topic of the subject. Yes, but somehow we have got this mercy to hear that, and I just want to give a little overview about the chapter that we studied, the chapter 21 of the Madhya Lila, because before the chapter starts, there is a summary of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So he summarizes the 21st chapter, just that we remember what we heard the last weeks. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fully describes Krishna Loka. He describes the spiritual sky. He describes the material world with its innumerable universes. And then he describes also a pastime with Lord Brahma, when Lord Brahma was very proud and he went to Krishna and he knocked at the door, and Krishna asked, "Who is there?" And he said, "It's Brahma, it's me." And Krishna said, "Yeah, but which Brahma?" And Brahma was, "What? It's me, Brahma with the 4 heads." And then, okay, and he let him enter. And then he showed him in his meditation, Krishna, that there were innumerable amount of Lord Brahmas, some with 100 heads, some with thousands heads, with millions of heads, and they were all doing the most magnanimous services to Lord Krishna, and they were bowing down, and with their helmets they were doing a sound that was glorifying the Lord. So we were hearing that also, and then at the end these nice poems were presented about the pastimes of Krishna's and Krishna's super excellent beauty, and as we mentioned, about the flute and the gopis. And the last sentences throughout the rest of the chapter, our intimate relationship, sambandha, with Krishna is described. So I was wondering what here is exactly the sambandha, because these gopis, they are fully realized, they have already the prayojan, the goal. Sambandha means connection to Krishna. And actually the gopis, they are making the connection to Krishna through the flute. The flute is the connection. And in this world, we get the Maha Mantra to connect with Krishna. At the time of initiation, the Guru gives the Maha Mantra, and then the soul can connect to Krishna, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And after they were running, the gopis were running, so this was the Abhideya. Abhideya is the devotional service, the process of devotional service. And this is then the next chapter that we will read. This is then chapter 22. And then when we go on, chapter 23 will be the prayojan. So it's always, in authorized scriptures, it's always explained about sambandha, prayojan, and sambandha, abhideya, and at the end, prayojan. Yeah, and I want to speak a little bit more about sambandha to complete this chapter. And I was listening to a class of His Holiness Sachinandana Swami, where he speaks about Krishna Sambandha. It's a class of 2012 in Ljubljana. And he says that this deep felt connection with Krishna is very dear to the devotee's heart. And how can we chant kirtan with a deep feeling of connectedness and feel ecstatic? So actually, we don't want to be disconnected from Krishna, because when we are disconnected from Him, we cannot speak to Him, we cannot relay, we cannot communicate. So without connection to Him, there is no relation, there is no yoga, no bhakti yoga, and we are totally disconnected. So how to connect with Krishna? And Maharaj describes there is a chain around our neck, and it doesn't mean the neck beads that we have, but he means that our conditional nature is the chain that presses us down, and so we identify with what is unreal. So we identify with our body, with our roles. Oh, I am a woman. Oh, I am a man. I am a kindergarten teacher. I am actor. I am doctor, whatever. So I am father, I am mother, this kind of false identifications. And yeah. Actually, it is very difficult to give up this false identification. There is also this story of, you may know that, this story of Lord Indra, when he was cursed somehow because of his enjoying mood. And then he was cursed to become a pig, in a pig's body. And then he lived in this pig body. And first he was not very enthusiastic about it, but then he had a wife, he had children, he had a lot of mud and garbage where he could play, and he felt very comfortable with the time. And then after 1 year or so, the devatas were complaining to Lord Brahma. They said, oh, we have to call our Lord Indra back. We need our king back. We have no ruler in our kingdom, so please call him back. And Lord Brahma said, oh, nothing more easy than that. I will call him back. And he went to him and said, oh, Lord Indra in the form of pig, please come back. And the pig was only like, what are you saying to me? I'm here enjoying. I have my wife, my children, I have food, I have everything. So he didn't want to come back. And Lord Brahma had really to persuade him, but he still didn't want. And then he made a trick. He took the form of a farmer, and he came to him and he said, so now it's the time for slaughtering. And then the pig immediately came to his senses and he said, no, I'm Lord Indra, I'm a king of heaven, I'm not this pig. And then he was actually enlightened by shock. And so how we can change this misidentification, this nature? This nature can be stopped by turning to Krishna. Like to be conscious, I'm not this unreal role, and I want to disidentify with the unreal, and to do the firm bond which binds me to Krishna. I'm not this body, I'm not this role, but I am an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. And when we are aware of that, we may still not know our eternal service. We may not be on that platform, but we know I belong to Krishna, and what I'm playing now is false. And if we meditate about this, we can connect also in the Mahamantra. When we chant the holy name, I was thinking, actually my rounds are very bad, honestly speaking. I have singing very bad rounds. But sometimes, or also recently, I was thinking, when I'm calling Krishna in this world, when I'm saying Krishna, I was trained somehow. In the beginning of my Krishna consciousness, I used to live with the Mataji, and she always said, oh Krishna, whatever happened to her, oh Krishna. And for me it was very something new, something I didn't know before. And then I started to do the same thing. And recently, I'm just right now, I'm learning how to drive, and then I had to turn around the corner, and I didn't see the cars, but I saw, okay, there is no one, and I turned around, and then at that moment, a motor car crossed, and I was shouting, Krishna, and in front of the teacher, and but it was coming automatically, and he didn't say anything. So I was thinking, when I would be able to chant like this, Krishna, in this word Krishna, when we sing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, really to point Krishna, really to mean Krishna, and not just to let the mind go here and there. Yeah, and actually one should offer whatever one does and one has, with all his mind, with his senses, and with his words, with his purified words. And actually, Maharaj makes also the point that making the connection starts with doing service for Krishna. And the service will help to develop this relationship. If we want to enter a relationship to Krishna, we have to do service, actually. And then this is the Abhideya, service. And the next chapter is called the process of devotional service. So that's what it's all about, and what we will sing here next. Shishi Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Jai, Shishi Gaur Nitai Ki Jai, Yashoda Damodar ki jai, Shri Radha Damodar ki jai. Yeah, actually this is the this is the like the sign that I could change the subject from the devotional. So actually, no, we make the line from the devotional service to this very special day today. They are very beautifully dressed and decorated today, our deities. And today is a very special day. It's the beginning of Kartik, of the Kartik months. And yeah, we are singing the Damodarashtakam in these months. We are remembering the Damodar Lila. And you may, I think all of you know the Damodar Lila, or most of you have heard maybe once. Yesterday we were speaking also in the Vaishnavi Sangha about the Damodar Lila. And actually this month is, this Kartik month is also called Urja Vrata. So Urja comes from the word Urjeshwari, and this is a name of Srimati Radharani. And Vrata is the vow that we are doing, because this is the month of doing a vow, something special, a special service for Krishna. We want to do some special endeavor for Krishna. And for all those who did not yet consider it or think about a vow, yeah, I would like to encourage, because this is such a nice month to do this vow. And now, today it starts, and today we can still do, like, it can be anything, to chant more, maybe one round, maybe more rounds than usual. Or maybe we want to read more, maybe we want to get up earlier, and we want to get up for Mangal Artik. Or maybe we want to do some very nice service, or we want to serve the Vaishnavas more than usual. So all this kind of vrata, but it's a kind of actually internal vrata. We should do that internally. And it's a time of absorption, this Kartik month. And the ideal place is actually to go to Vrindavan for Kartik. Why? Because the Leela takes place in Vrindavan. But to be in the temple here in Zurich is also like Vrindavan, because everything is here. I mean, Damodar is here, Damodar is here, and Yashoda Devi, and Krishna is here, you know, and the devotees are here, the associates, Srila Prabhupada is here, everything is here. So we should not be discouraged if this time we could not go to Vrindavan. And yeah, so Krishna is drinking the milk of Mother Yashoda, and he is enjoying so much to drink the milk, because Mother Yashoda, she has so much love, and she gives all her love to the milk. And it is said that a cow who gives milk to the calf, actually out of love, the cow gives a lot of milk. So in the same way, Mother Yashoda gives a lot of very sweet milk. And it's actually like an ocean of milk. It's so, and Krishna is so pleased and so satisfied. But suddenly something happens. The milk in the kitchen comes up and runs almost into the fire. So she, at that moment, when she realizes this, she just puts Krishna on the side, on the floor, and she runs towards the milk. So one may ask, what is happening here, actually? Yashoda Devi, she was doing the highest kind of service. Why would she run after another service? It is a service to put up the fire to put away the milk from the fire. it was because in the spiritual world, everything is personified. So the milk is also a person. And the milk was thinking, oh, Mother Yashoda gives so much milk and so intense milk, like an ocean of milk. What can I do? How can I serve her? I'm only a little bit of milk, a little bit of cow milk. What can I do for Krishna? So the milk was desperate, and the milk couldn't do any service anymore. The milk was thinking like this. And she thought, it is better for me to jump into the fire, to make suicide, than to continue to live without service. And actually, I once heard in a lecture, it was also from Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu, that actually the only reason for doing suicide is when we don't have any service anymore. And so we should not think, oh, I'm not living in the temple, I cannot do service, and then I commit suicide. No, we can actually, the point is we can always do service, because the highest service, we heard last time also from Hare Krishna Prabhu, is to chant the Maha Mantra. This is the service that everyone can do. Even when we lose everything, we may be in the time of death, and we may not be able to move anymore, or to see or hear something, but internally we can chant the Maha Mantra, and this is the highest service. And this will be, actually also our test then. And I want also to speak a little bit about this discouragement, that we should not feel discouraged to do a service. We should not feel like, oh, somebody else is doing better. I was also thinking, many others from this temple can give a much better lecture than I can. But somehow Krishna, or maybe we want to sing for Krishna, and someone else, or he has thousands of Gandharvas who sing much more beautiful than we may sing. But Krishna wants to hear us. He wants to take the service from us, because this is the very personal relationship that he has with each one of us. Last time I was asking this question about Swadharma to Krishna Kshetra Maharaj, and he was saying that this Swadharma leads us to this very unique flavor that Krishna enjoys from the soul to Krishna, this very personal. And this is what Krishna really wants, and this he's enjoying it. It's like we can compare this like the baby says also he cannot speak, but still the mother and the father are so pleased. Oh, he speaks. But and like this we should never feel discouraged, but always think, I do it. And why am I doing it? Because it's Guru's order, actually. When Guru gives the service, then it's a real seva. And when we may have no Guru at this time yet, so then we can go to the authority from the temple. And when the authority gives the service, then it's also service. And to chant is also always service. And before we are initiated, it's actually a sukriti. It's not yet service. It's really the spiritual master who gives the seva. So I think I'm going to stop here. Or maybe we can just continue a little bit in the Leela, because the Leela continues after, because Krishna, he is so frustrated that he runs out, actually. He runs out and he goes to the clay pots, they are filled with butter, and he throws stones on them, and then they crush and the butter comes out. And then he distributes the butter to the monkeys. He's like very naughty. And Yashoda Ma, she's busy with the milk, and then she comes back, and then she sees that Krishna had made all this mess, and she's very upset and says, "Oh, I have to teach my boy a lesson, otherwise he will be so unpolite and becoming like not a well-educated person. I have to educate him." She takes a stick and she runs toward him. And Krishna, in the moment when he sees the stick of Mother Yashoda, he's so afraid and he's crying. He who is actually, he's the fear personified. Everyone fears Krishna because he is coming at the moment of death. He comes and he is, everybody is afraid of him. But at that moment, Mother Yashoda, because she's such a pure devotee, he is afraid of her because she's so much in the role of being mother and he is the son. So this is the mood. And then she binds him. She wants to bind him, and it's always too short. She cannot bind him. It's too short. And they saw the 2 fingers, too short. So these are the 2 qualities, like, and actually she tries to bind him. And it doesn't work. And she will get some other rope. She tries again. It doesn't work. She tries again. She asks all the gopis from the village, "Please give me some rope." And they give, and she binds the ropes together. But still, it would be not enough to bind him. And at the end, she gets one rope. Who gave that rope? Yes, thank you very much. Srimati Radharani gave the rope that from her hairband, we say in English, haarband, the hairband she gives. And this finally could bind Krishna. Why? Because he's Shyama Sundar and he's bound by his pure devotee, and actually he's mostly bound by Srimati Radharani. Yes, and this is why it's called Urja Vrata. It's the name of Srimati Radharani. It's actually the months of Srimati Radharani. So we try to do service for Krishna, but also, or especially actually, for Srimati Radharani. And if there are something you want to add or to comment or say, or maybe you want to ask something. Yes, Damodar Prasad Prabhu.
I just want to, you said that today is the start of Kartik. And
yes.
You know, now as 10th present, so many devotees come. Why is it today? Because it's supposed to be tomorrow. And I just thought I used this platform to explain, and maybe it can spread. Mm. Actually, the month starts tomorrow. Because today is full moon. But the Vrata starts on full moon.
Okay, thank you so much.
So, just to, the confusion is not there.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Let's spread it.
Every year the confusion, like when it starts. So it starts tomorrow, but today the Vrata starts. So our vows we should start today. Yes. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
I mean, different Vaishnava traditions also have this differently. Some actually do it from Ekadashi to Ekadashi, and there's different also version. But in ISKCON we do it from Purnima to Purnima.
Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. It was very refreshing to have you here and speaking on Chaitanya Charitamrita. You made a point about we should not be discouraged, I think, or I don't remember which word you use. Which one you
discouraged.
Discouraged. If there is failure, or
if we think somebody else can do much better this service that I'm doing.
There's a sometimes. I mean, I'm expert in being discouraging myself, and sometimes there's a little trick which I wanted to share, because yeah, you know that yes, we should not feel discouraged, because Krishna processes things differently. We sometimes think it's all or nothing. You know, I didn't do something perfectly, and therefore it's all useless now. I cannot be the best devotee, so I cannot be sannyasi, I cannot be this, I cannot be that, I cannot, you know, then it's all useless now. But that's not perfection, that's perfectionism. That's not how Krishna sees and how spiritual master sees. They're very encouraging, but at the same time we still might feel that way. We might see somebody doing very well and then we feel, oh, and we know I shouldn't feel that way. Then we feel even more discouraged. So the trick is at those times to be compassionate to yourself. It's like, oh, okay, thank you for what you already did. I acknowledge that you may feel that way. There is a space to feel that way, but thank you. Being encouraging to yourself, basically, being compassionate to yourself at those moments, rather than being very strict and, how to say, condemning oneself. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It now comes something to my mind that actually in the spiritual world, the gopis are also thinking, oh, this gopi does much better service than I do for Krishna. But because she has no envy, she is encouraged by that. So she feels, oh, I want also to please him much more. This is encouraging, like this. Maybe also Krishna Premarupa wants to say.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you for the wonderful lecture. I think you should do that more often. You made a nice point about service. That basically, you know, what I took is basically service is something that is given, right?
Yes.
It's given from guru, authorities. Sometimes we see devotees, they may become attached to their service and they claim, this is my service, I've done it for so long, it is my service. But we understand actually service is it's a mercy and it's given. So do you like to say something more about that? Or?
Yeah, actually what comes to my mind is that Srila Prabhupada, he says actually to do service is not only a duty, but it's an obligation. And like we should really like stick and stay with the service. But of course when there is in the temple, it's like not practical because everyone wants to do that service. So yeah, what is the solution? That the service may be internally, I think. I don't know exactly what the solution is actually, but that comes to my mind that it should be always, it should be continuing, but in the temple it's everybody should have the chance to do it. So, oh yeah. But at the same time, if Krishna is very pleased, if this is really like the internal service, that this service this person wants to do always, then we may not like shake this person from doing that service anymore because he's so determined. I think we have some examples in this temple where, yeah. I'm thinking of Ramakanta Prabhu in the evening, every evening since 30 or 40 years, he's coming and always speaking. This is like his, you know,